this slide, the only thing you really need to be able to identify are these slightly lighter colored circles, okay? There's one here, and one over here, okay? Those are the lymphatic nodules. Now, this tissue looks very, very similar to the spleen that I'm going to show you next. That's mainly because they're essentially the same thing. They're both lymphatic tissue, right? So their function's very similar. You're going to see similar tissue in them. The biggest difference that you can use is, unfortunately, the color changes. That's because with this lymphatic tissue, its function is more, I guess, streamlined. So if you look at the lymphatic nodules, they're essentially the same stain and color as the surrounding environment, just slightly less dense. Okay, so it's kind of the same pigments, slightly less dense than the surrounding area. That's going to be the biggest indicator that this is a lymph node and not the spleen, because as we'll see in a second with the spleen, you're going to see a color change between the circles and the outside environment. Okay, so if you see it and it's the same color, just a less dense circle, so it looks a little bit lighter, that's how you can tell without fail that it's a lymph node. Kind of do like a terrible picture on the board for those that can see it, but ideally if we were to get like the perfect cut of this, what you would see is a vessel coming down and it kind of looks like a bunch of grapes hanging off the end of the vessel. That's what a lymph node would look like, but we just don't really get that great picture here, but that's kind of a way to explain this. That's just the vessel going through it, okay? And you will see that more commonly in lymph nodes. And as you can see, these are pretty closely associated with that vessel. However, we'll see like something similar in the spleen, so it's a decent indicator, but it's not fail-safe. Okay, so I don't want you guys necessarily to use that. I think the color is kind of a better indicator with this one. So any questions before we look at the spleen?